Welcome, comrade, to glorious Soviet Republic. This is Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and it's an awesome city building game that I've been really enjoying for a long time. It's not just a city builder, you've got the entire sort of resource and industry supply chain sort of thing where you got to build up all your infrastructure. There's a whole construction and resource mechanic where, you got to set up all your different building materials, and then the people will come and build all the buildings, and then you've got to set up all the machinery to do that. Super cool. It's not just plop and it goes. Well, it can be, but that's not how we're going to play it. We are going to do Cosmonaut mode. This is where all the resources have to either be driven in or produced by your Soviet Republic. They don't just magically appear. You don't just press a button and pay and your building appears. You got to build them from scratch, except for the first ones, because you can't do it otherwise. And we'll end up with a thriving metropolis, hopefully even a little bit bigger than this one that I played earlier. So, let's get into it. So here we go in the main menu. It's Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. It is an early access game, but it gets updates all the damn time, and it is awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game, and we're going to do a random map. And in here I'm going to set all the settings to basically the hardest. Money, hard, energy. You've got to use energy and fuel for your vehicles. Everything is just going to be difficult, so there's going to be day-night cycle as well. It does cause a little bit of annoyance with building during the day, and then at night you can't see anything, but I'm just going to keep it on hardest. So we're going to have, all the fires on, buildings fall up, you need fire things, and education, you've got to educate your children, and if there's no kindergartens, students don't go anywhere. The randomization, I just set it to whatever seemed cool. I made it a little bit flatter because some of the building on hills can be a little bit tiresome. You got to flatten things and stuff, and it gets a little bit annoying. And I added extra forests because I think it looks nice. And now we are loading into our Soviet Republic. I'm going to name my villages and things after patrons and various other people, so I think that can be cool. And then I just need to find the site where I'm going to start building. I'm also going to enable time lapses and stuff because it's a cool little feature that they have. So I'm just going to look for areas in the map that are close to both borders. You get Soviet borders and Western borders. So you import them with dollars or rubles depending on which border you're near. And then there are border posts basically on each of those, so that's where you can import resources and electricity and export and stuff. So we need to find a site that has one of these with power. Not all of them have power, and some of them have more roads and rail and whatever. I want to definitely make sure it's a Soviet one, because that's where most of our money is going to come from. And then I'm going to look for resources. So there's coal, iron, oil, aluminium, and uranium. So I want to find a site on the border that has some of those all nearby. And we've got some connections like that. That's a little weird rail that wasn't connected there. Doesn't matter. I also set it up to have rivers, so eventually we can maybe do some sea trading and stuff. I'm thinking this side of the map is best because it's close to the western side. It's not very near to the Soviet border, but it's fine. you can also make your own maps or download maps from the workshop and stuff like that. So there's a massive modding community for the game, which is awesome. Yeah, so the rules of Cosmonaut mode is basically, as I said, you've got to import all your resources. So you have to send a vehicle to the border. I'm sorry if you can hear a girl panting. And then there is a button in the game where it just auto builds, where it just costs money and buildings get built. You don't use that in Cosmonaut mode because it kind of is unsatisfying. I've played the game without that, or with using that, and it's kind of like meh. Things just get done, and this Cosmonaut mode, you've got to make all your things, transport all the resources with vehicles, use people to build it and all that. It makes it a lot more satisfying because, you know, you're actually making the things properly. And also it looks really cool watching it happen. You see all the road vehicles going in, like flattening the roads, and cranes come in and make the buildings, so it's really cool. Anyway, yeah, I am deciding on the spot to build, I think. So what we need to do is we need to set up the initial infrastructure for our city. Since Cosmonaut mode needs you, it's not really a real mode, it's just self-imposed rules. It needs the basic construction buildings created. We need to set those up. I'm first just going to find all the resources in this area, and I'm going to mark them out just so I can easily find them and not have to search the whole time. So we want the basic ones like coal, iron, and oil, because that's where we can get basic money from, and money is going to be very important. Unfortunately, it can be a little bit hard to find them, so I'm just going to whack my buildings around to find things. So gravel quarry, you can see there, it only works on rock. And that's the only bit of rock that is visible, I think, nearby. I think not really. Yeah, so it's just like this tiny little patch of rock over here. It should be enough for basic construction. I am actually going to use a modded gravel thing, because I have found it rather annoying that the gravel thing, you need to use trucks. There's no conveyor system for it. Haha, okay. So there we've got iron. Just a tiny little patch on that hill. But that's going to be important because steel is going to be a big money maker. And it's also one of the most expensive things to import. So you can like make little city area things and rename them. So this is what I'm going to name after patrons and stuff. I'm just setting as a marker for now this is our iron zone, just so I don't have to go searching for things again. Okay, and then we need to find, I don't think we need to worry about aluminium anytime soon, but coal and oil coal especially is going to be important. So there's actually not much. I'd love it if when you were hovering over those mini-map things, it would actually show it in the screen. You have to kind of now sort of find where that actually is in here. So I'm just going to quickly like zoom over the entire terrain to find where this coal is. Because with the camera icon, it doesn't exactly align with where it looks like on the map. We don't want it outside the borders. It's somewhere under us. There we go. So it's right here next to our gravel is where we've got sort of two little coal zones. So I think we're going to set up a lot of our stuff nearby this, because of a lot of our buildings will actually use coal, because you burn that for power, you burn that for heat. And we did turn on heating because it just makes things even more difficult. So this is going to be our coal zone. And I'm going to name this after Luke, one of my patrons. So this is going to be Lukograda. I don't know how you'd actually say that, or if it would actually be a Soviet name, but there you go. Luke, name that after you. Because, as I said, I think we're going to build around here a lot. Gravel, you use that for tons of construction. Coal is just constantly going to be used. So We're also between two border posts over there, so that's going to be a nice little bit of construction. And I just want to find our oil resources. There is uranium and stuff for, nuclear power, but that is going to be far down the line. Here we go. So let's find our coal. Our oil. Ooh, there we go. There's one. So there's two little patches over there. So that's going to be somewhere we're going to want to build. Because oil can be just a nice export resource. Because also we're going to be using fuel for all our trucks and cars and stuff. So we want to start making that at some point. It's going to take us a long time to get there though. Okay, so there's the one border post. That one doesn't have power though. So I think we're going to have to actually bring it in from that far one. And put a few mountains around here. Put this nice little valley to settle in. Yeah, let's set this up. There's our little power connection. So you can set that to export or import power. So we weren't going to have to, get power for now because building a power plant is very expensive. And there is our custom house. That's where you can get and export all your resources. And tourists as well, which is something we'll do later on. Things we'll need is a construction office. That's where all the buildings all the vehicles that do construction get set up, and it sends them out to do construction. So that's going to be important. Some die-hard Cosmonaut mode people will be like, no, don't use workshop buildings. But I'm not going to be hardcore doing this. I'm going to be, doing it for fun. And I'm not going to use overpowered buildings. If I see something that seems completely bonkers, I'm not going to use that. But they just add some, cool variety. So there we've got a gravel processor. I'm putting these just so I can get my resources placed about. Because as you know, there's not much space there. We've got our coal and our gravel right next to each other, so I kind of want to figure out where exactly these will go. There's the gravel mine V2 workshop mod, which just gives you a conveyor system for this. Otherwise you have to send a truck out every 5 seconds, and it just adds traffic, and it's just annoying. Why not have a conveyor when the gravel processor has a conveyor importer? So I don't think it's overpowered. I think it's fits with everything else. Also, just make sure that we don't have the auto build on, because otherwise then everything is going to auto build. So that is turned off, because especially we don't need these immediately. As you can see, even though it looks flat, it is not flat. When we get our construction offices, we can actually do that for free using bulldozers and stuff. At the moment, we'll have to actually pay to level stuff. So something to consider. Okay, so there's our construction office. I need to find basically where our main town is going to be there. We just want to turn off auto purchase resources because we don't want that. Otherwise we're going to have to go and turn that all off because it'll automatically import all needed resources, and we don't want that. We want to bring it all in manually. So I'm going to put this sort of in the middle between our iron and our coal and all that. Probably a little bit far from the border, but it's probably going to be fine. It's fine. So we're going to need a bunch of different storages. We're going to need all our construction resources, so concrete, cement, asphalt, all that sort of stuff. We're going to need warehouses for storage of construction materials, storages for the other stuff. There's the distribution office, so we want that for sending resources around. And then we're going to need cargo stuff, As you can see, there's tons of different stuff there. Technical services is another thing that we'll need later on. But road cargo station basically allows trucks to pick up stuff. I'm going to put that down near our construction office so that the vehicles can go out, pick up any resources they need nearby. As you can see, this is sort of a grid system, and I'm trying to line them up. It's the one sort of shortcoming of the game is lining up things can be kind of meh. I'd love for there to be like a alignment system where you can get a little lining thing and make things line up with each other. As it is, things can kind of look a little bit funny, and getting roads to slot up neatly can kind of suck. So we've got an open storage here, and you can see a sort of a conveyor, not a conveyor, it's a, forklift connection. So that buildings will just share resources. So this way we can just pick up resources from that building quicker, because cargo stations do that. You can also directly connect. You can see there's also a train station on there. And then we've got our warehouse, which is for more expensive resources basically, and connect that up there. So that's going to be like our steel, not our steel, our mechanical parts and stuff in there. I'm going to set up some roads first. Basic mud roads, make sure we're not on auto build. And then we're just going to get a connection from our customs house and bring that to our area over here. So this is the thing that can be a little bit annoying with the game. The roads sort of slot up weirdly. But you sort of can work around it most of the time. So I'm going to do a little direct out over there and connect our construction office to that little road, and then connect our warehouse storage thing into that. We just need to snake it through that gap. I know we can get there. I want to avoid having tons and tons of intersections. Sometimes it's best to connect it to a road that's already nearby instead of drawing it out of the building, because otherwise it's going to want to do like little weird connections. But let's just do some straight lines out from there and connect this section to a bit of roads. You can also change the sort of curvature of the road as well. Oh yeah, it does corners in this case. I think that's fine. And then we're going to connect that up to our entrance. We can do a diagonal road, but I want to leave construction area over here, so I'm going to do go straight off over there. It might mean longer travel times, but me. Okay, so our construction office, we need that. It can't be built without, being built. So we can fund it with rubles, or we can fund it with dollars. We get a little bit of both. I'm just going to pay it with dollars because we're not going to need dollars for a long time. And as you can see, this just magically constructs the building. I'm just pausing it again, just so we don't waste time. So in here we can buy all the buildings we need, and a bulldozer will allow us to flatten ground, I think, and then the other one, see, they've got different speeds for doing things. Excavate allows you to dig, I think. I can't remember which one is which, but whatever. Get the fastest one, whatever. And now when we want to do construction or leveling of things, it'll be free. We don't have to pay rubles now. So now we can level and raise and lower terrain for free, so long as those vehicles are available. Sometimes they get used for construction and then you can't do it. So So it makes it sort of semi-realistic, except they magically appear wherever your mouse is. But that's fine, it's a game. So I'm guessing we're going to put all our resources between here and our construction office. I just want to make sure that this doesn't auto-build, because for a while we don't need gravel. We'll import it. We'll set that up a little bit later. So we're going to need our resources for all these things. So I'm just going to utilize all this space for gravel mines. It's probably more than enough, but it's just fill in the area. Try and make the most of it. You can see a quality of source thing there. Basically, the efficiency if you've got your building in that spot. I just want to maximize it. I think we'll probably get a couple in here, maybe 3, maybe 4. Okay, so now we've got a conveyor 3-into-1, so modded workshop item. So now we just need to find a spot where we can get all 3 of those gravel bits to connect to a conveyor. So you can see little green lines there where conveyors. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can find a spot where all 3 connect. They only get certain angles where they'll connect, and there you go. So I do find conveyors a little bit annoying because roads can be annoying with them, and I would like a little bit more flexibility. That's why I'm using workshop ones of these, because otherwise it's extremely annoying sometimes. I guess we have to put it there. I would prefer the straight line, but whatever. So that'll just join them all together, and we can import. It's only one import conveyor into this for some reason. So that'll be our gravel processor. And I just want to find somewhere. I want to get it closer to the construction line there, because keeping things nearby is best. So you can see it needs to not be too acute of an angle, otherwise it doesn't connect. I'm gonna align the roads, I think, to the building, because we're gonna need to use this gravel in tons of other buildings now. So we're gonna need an aggregate storage. Aggregate is, just like loose material. Because gravel is going to be used for tons of stuff. So put a little storage there. As I said, for a while we're going to just import this stuff. So we can just drop it off in the storage and then use it again, and then set up our buildings later on to drop it off in there. Okay, so we're going to put a conveyor engine thing here. This splits it into 3, and I think 3 should be fine, because we want to do we want concrete, we want asphalt, and we want just a pickup spot. So asphalt plant. This will also need another resource, bitumen, and concrete. We'll need cement, but for now we can't make cement, so we're gonna have to import cement. I'm just trying to find how far these conveyors can go. We're gonna need a little bit of space for all of these. So there's our asphalt. You can see that's got a different connector on the other side there for bitumen. For now we're just gonna import that with trucks. So that one is not connecting nicely. And then we're gonna need a truck loader. It's just faster to load with an aggregate loader than it is to just send a truck to a building to pick stuff up. So long-term speed up over there. So now we want to set up all the connections over here. So mud roads are free, so we're going to use those for now, and then later on we'll upgrade them to gravel and asphalt roads. They take construction to make. I'm going to add a bus stop over here because we need workers, you know. These buildings actually need people to run, so I'm going to put a bus stop over here. Definitely for these two buildings because we're going to need them all the time. Concrete and bitumen, not bitumen, asphalt. I'm going to put another one over there for our gravel processor because I don't think that's close enough to the other one. That'll be, as I said, later on. You need to have all these buildings that have roads actually connected. Otherwise fire trucks can't get there. And if the building catches fire, it disappears. It's gone. Yeah, as I said, the road thing can be kind of annoying sometimes. I was going to have to check that conveyor engine thing just now because... as I said, if you don't have a fire connection, it's going to die. Okay, so that's most of our construction stuff. What else do we need? We need a distribution office. Well, there's meat storage as well because we're going to need food and meat. And meat needs refrigeration, whereas food does not. So I want to get that in over there, connected to our lorry system, and make sure that we can actually get a car into there for fire. I think that'll be good. Just need to put a car in the back there. I mean, a road, not a car. A road connection, a call connection. Shut up. I'm gonna make just a connection into this other section over there. Basically gonna be like the back roads over here. It's good to have multiple connections, especially when we start constructing roads. They'll need like detour paths and stuff. I also want to start setting up where our city is going to be, where people will live. There is a whole pollution mechanic and stuff, so you don't want to have your people near mines and stuff because they'll get sick and die. So I'm trying to think where I'm going to build them, I guess. To the other side. I didn't put... Okay, so we're going to need a distribution office. So this sets vehicles that will tell, you know, you go there, you take this resource to that spot, so you don't have to manually do it, which can also be tedious, especially for Cosmonaut mode. So a distribution office, just basically you tell it what buildings need what and what give what, and they'll just send appropriate vehicles to do that. Makes life easier. We need some fuel for our cars because otherwise they'll get stranded and stop working. So we need a little gas station. I'm putting that right here nearby our distribution and construction offices. Just get into that corner there. And yeah, since we put it on the harder settings, cars use up fuel and then they'll need to go pick up fuel at a gas station. And now we're going to need power. As you can see, everything will need power, and there's a certain range that a substation can connect. I think I'm going to need two for this. So I'm going to put one in the middle here for that section. And then I think another one for those sections. So I didn't actually think about this, but I should have actually got all those buildings in the middle so they will connect. I forgot about power. My bad. So I'm going to try to get as many of them as possible with one substation over here. And we can just get it up to the road over there. That's good. And then we're going to need one for the mines. Okay, so you get medium voltage and you get high voltage. So high voltage is what you use from your power plants and from long distance sort of stuff. And then medium voltage is what most buildings will actually use. So I'm putting a little transformer thing and a high voltage switch because there's only one connection over there, so we need to split it up into multiple high voltage lines because we're going to need a few going to different spaces later on. I'm just going to use, I think, the fattest one. You get different voltage lines, but I'm just going to use the most expensive one because I don't know how much current is going to come through here, so let's just take the big one. And now we're going to need medium voltage. So this is what's going to power most of these buildings. And we need to connect that to our little station over there. So I'm going to try avoid most of the buildings. Can be a little bit hard to see them sometimes. Probably actually built that transformer a little bit far away, but whatever. And then let's get this one and go along with the other one just nearby so that things aren't too crazy. Water safe going with there, whatever. And connect that to our transformer. So that should be fine. But we need our vehicles for this. It's not powered. We need to set to import power. So I'm just going to set it to maximum. It will just import what you need. It won't just always import maximum. It'll import what you're using. I need to just tell it to start construction because at the moment they're in planning mode. So now it'll set them to be built, and we need to do that for our high voltage. And now those will get constructed, but they can't, so we need to fund these. We're going to fund from dollars. As I said, those dollars we're not using at the moment. Maybe later. We don't even have a connection with the dollars, so I'm going to use that until we run out. And all these buildings we're just going to set to auto construct. And then when we hit play, they will all just sort of pop. So every single one of these, they need to be constructed because at the moment we don't have anything able to construct them. These are the things needed to construct. So these are the only things that we will do like this, unless it's like an absolute emergency and our city will die without it. I'm not going to be that hardcore that I won't in that case. But yeah, that's the aim, to not use this funding thing and construct everything. Because otherwise it's like magical things, they just get built. Like you see if 8 play now, they just pop up or nothing. We set up that other substation. Oop. There you go. Now all those should be powered. Actually no, we need to set up our lines. They don't get auto constructed either unless we tell them to. So there you go, boop boop boop. I enjoy the little construction animations. It's even better when they're actually being built by vehicles, but anyway. As I said, these can be a little bit hard to see, the medium lines. Boop, constructed. Where's the second line? Come on, come on. Hiccups, sorry. Come on, let me click on you. Let me click on you. There we go. Now we got power, you see it. Well, gauges popped up. You can over demand and then you'll get brownouts and stuff, so we need to make sure later on when we start using more power that things are there. I'm just checking that everything has all the things that it needs, power and stuff. But there we go. I think that is all the basic stuff for construction that we need so far. All the other stuff we'll need later on, but these ones that I've constructed are the ones that we need for now. So, we need fuel. At the moment, we don't have any, and our vehicles will not be able to do anything. You can, if you're not doing hardcore, you can just tell it to auto import and it'll just magically fill up with resources when you just pay and it fills up. But that's not how we're going to do it. We're going to need vehicles to fill up things. So that's where we would use a distribution office. So you can buy vehicles with rubles and dollars, and you get all sorts of different vehicles. So we got our oil tankers, and these can take oil, fuel, and bitumen. So we're going to get some tankers because we're going to need bitumen and we're going to need fuel. We're going to need all our other things. So we're going to need covered vehicles. We're going to need all of them. So covered vehicles are for more like damageable materials. Dry bulk is sort of for our cement. So we're going to need for steel, we're going to need for panels, we're going to need for boards, bricks. I'm just getting the biggest one. So steel, boards, bricks, panels. But how this works, we click on our customers office, we click on any buildings that where we need things to go. Customers office, we're only going to load things for now. And all of these other buildings is where we're going to tell it to drop off stuff. So we're going to need prefab, panels, bricks, we're going to need electrical components. Electrical components are different from electronics. Electronics is TVs, electrical components is, construction resources. Mechanical components, fuel, bitumen, we're going to need that until we can make it ourselves. Cement, we're going to need that. Okay, so we're going to add our other things here. So we're going to need to unload fuel at our fuel thing. I think it doesn't let me change that for some reason. Whatever. And our cargo station, that's where we're going to drop off all our stuff. So we're going to do our steel, we're going to do our panels, bricks, boards, electrical components, mechanical components. So that'll fill up our warehouses over there. And then we need to add in concrete plant is the one that needs cement and gravel. So we need to send that to those. And then this one needs gravel and bitumen. So we're going to need a gravel truck to go into those spaces. So add buildings, so we're going to need those, and we're going to need, so we're going to drop off cement and bitumen, just making sure it's set to unload in there. Bitumen will need a oil tanker, and then we're going to need a, in our warehouses we can select what resources we want to store, and for the moment we don't want to fill these up with unnecessary things. So like our warehouse, we don't need crops and stuff in there. Electronics we don't need, so we only need food, clothes, mechanical and electrical components. Our open storage, we don't need aluminium at the moment. We don't need wood in there. You can see the highlighted buildings are showing up in yellow, and then we also need, I love that you can see them in there. Okay. Our fuel truck is going out, so it must be doing something. You can click on the individual vehicle and we can see what its plans are, because the distribution office will assign it. So this one is getting bitumen. Okay, it is working. So it is going over there, it's going to drop it off and do its thing. So we can set the storage that we want that building to be full. I would like it to be 100%, but whatever. I guess 90% is it. So you can tell the distribution office to always fill that building up to whatever percentage. And now, what do we need? We need, I'm gonna build a small construction, distribution office for our food system, so that the other one can just be for resources, and then this one we can use for doing our village as well, and sending food around, because we need to set that up separately as well. Because we're doing it hardcore. Cosmonaut. Forgot to put a road here. We need to get a refrigerated truck into that. Each building only has so many slots that vehicles can go in, so we need to make sure that we don't oversaturate them, because otherwise they get blocked. Okay, we need our aggregate storage for our gravel. We need to fill that up with gravel. Otherwise, our other buildings will not work. So I'm going to add some dumper trucks in here, because that's what carries that. And I'm going to go for the faster ones, I think. So let's get a couple of those. We're going to tell it to load gravel. And we're gonna add in our building over here, aggregate storage, and then this one we need to tell it to unload gravel in there, and that'll fill that up with gravel for us. And that's connected to the conveyors, so that'll drop it off for all the other buildings. There's our construction office. You can see all this list of tasks. It highlights all the things that it wants to do and all the locations where it's getting stuff from. So we can tell, we want to get our stuff from these buildings. So we want to get our resources from the warehouses and from those construction things. We need to set that to build. And I just like watching these getting constructed. Some of them have even more complex animations. And then this is going to be our food, so we're going to get food and clothes and meat. So we need a refrigerator truck for the meat. I don't know why food doesn't get refrigerated, but whatever, simplified mechanics. It's also generic food. It's not like different types of crops, it's just crops and food and meat. Sorry, vegans. People require meat in this. We are in 1960, so I'm setting up to drop off food and clothes and meat into our warehouse, and we should be good. I'm going to set that to sort of fill up, and everything is set up. It's just adjusting percentages. We don't need tons of mechanical components and electrical components because they're super expensive, and we don't want our trucks to go and buy like 10,000 tons of that because we'll go bankrupt. Should be good. Let's check this out. So there's our fuel truck. We can click on it. Look at him go. Also, they do like all little RPM and stuff calculations, and let's watch this guy go. So I'm gonna let these guys go and fill up our resources. It's gonna take a while for all our trucks to go around and pick up stuff and fill up all the buildings, so we'll let this play. Let's follow this guy to the border. It's actually a really pretty game, considering how big the area is. It's nice. One of this conga line of vehicles going to get resources. Why are these guys not going? Really need cement there. Why those cars? Okay. I don't know. Anyway, this guy's about to get to the border and he's going to pick up our first little load of bitumen. And here we go. Our first pickup of resources from the border. Look. There we go. There goes our money. We're gonna need to start making a profit at some point. There we go. The beginnings of our glorious Soviet Republic. I hope you enjoyed. I did indeed, and this is going to be a fun little playthrough. Hopefully we don't starve and die. See you soon. Bye.